What is going on, everyone? Today we have the RX 9060 XT. We're going to be checking it out in Cronos, and of course we're going to go through it layer by layer to make sure you can know what to expect from this card at different settings and resolutions. As usual, we are not overclocking anything, and everything is straight out of the box settings with drivers up to date as of the time of this video. With all that out of the way, if you are new here, please consider subscribing. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. Let's jump into the game. All right, folks, here we are with the RX 9060 XT. We got 16 gigabytes of VRAM on this card, and we've paired it with a 14600K and 32 gigs of RAM. We're going to be going through all the different settings for you today, see what you can expect out of this card at 1440p. All right, so we're at 64 FPS here with medium settings enabled. So this is kind of why I started here. It gives you about 60 FPS, and everything's starting to look pretty good. VRAM allocations under control, 10.6. And we are going to just keep going up and go to high and then ultra and see what some ray tracing might do for us and see what we can expect if we went with this card on this title. So if we go up to high, all right, that was going to give us 53, 51 FPS. We're probably going to have to use some upscaling to get this up just a little bit more. Quality FSR should do the trick. I'm thinking that we would be able to get away with high with quality and potentially epic with balanced. We'll have to see. But right here on just all native resolution, we're at 52, 53 FPS. No ray tracing, of course. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but yeah, right here we are just going to go up to epic settings, and epic settings, of course, is going to give us a little bit of a drop in performance. We're at 42 FPS, 43. Now, if we come up here and kick on some quality FSR, we need to see what that will do for us. That will probably be the best way to play without any sort of ray tracing. It's going to keep that image nice and sharp. All right, so let's just come down here and go to super sampling, of course, and go up to a quality preset, FSR. All right, and that gives us 75 FPS on epic settings at 1440p. So here you go. We are at a really nice frame rate, and we're able to get our PCL to report about a 63 millisecond on latency. I would like for it to be a little bit lower, but this is not a game that requires the most intense reflexes. So I think you'll be fine. And on mono controller, you can enable the PlayStation prompts, which I greatly appreciate. I love when games give you the ability to just control it in the game and not rely on all that Steam override stuff that makes it all confusing. Yeah, 80 FPS over here. So this looks really good. I'm going to kick on some ray tracing and see what we can expect from this card whenever we do enable some ray tracing. Now, it's going to hit it pretty hard. Ray tracing is still pretty intensive for this card. It's going to think about it a little bit. I just activated it. It takes a little bit. So there we go. We are good to go now. All right, so that gives us an FPS of right at 60. So really not too shabby. I mean, I was thinking we weren't going to even be in the 50s. So I'm really impressed that we can run ray tracing with quality FSR here at 1440p. Now, 1440p still looks pretty good on balanced, in my opinion. There it is. This is a thing that it does. So ray tracing on the 9070 XT and on this introduced these very, very jarring freezes. They're not even stutters. I mean, they freeze hard. And it seems to be only when ray tracing is enabled. So even though our frames are, respectable, just something to call out that I did not see any sort of incredibly harsh stuttering with any of the NVIDIA cards whenever ray tracing was enabled. All right, so just getting that out there. All right, so let's just come down here, give it a little bit more help when it comes to upscaling. So we're at 66, 65 FPS. This is a nice experience. If you do want to use ray tracing, just bear in mind you might have some really harsh freezes here and there once ray tracing is enabled. There's probably a mod already out there that addresses it, but this is not really the scope of this channel. I'm just showing you straight up what you can expect out of the box. But yeah, worth calling that out. And, you know, if you're comfortable moving some files around, you might be able to mod it out of this. But yeah, we're at 70 FPS here, and we're not doing any frame generation at the moment. So let's take care of that. Let's come down here because we have plenty of VRAM. So as we hit our VRAM with about, didn't even go up that much. It's still looking pretty good. Our shared VRAM is quite low, 180 megabytes, which is good to see. I don't think any kind of spillage is going to happen on our VRAM here. There's another one of those harsh stutters. But yeah, once you do frame generation, the PCL no longer reports, unfortunately. It does on NVIDIA cards, but since this is an NVIDIA overlay, the AMD just says, no, man, I'm not going to report anything. But it's still 135 FPS. It still feels really good on a controller. And yeah, we're not doing any sort of super dramatic upscaling here. And we are doing epic settings with ray tracing. At 1440p, I think this would be a pretty nice experience. Now, if you did want to go up to 4K, I'm just going to do a real quick 4K look. Of course, take that ray tracing off. I'm not trying to blow this up. So let's go epic quality without ray tracing and see what that looks like at 1440 or at 4K rather. Okay, so we don't have any ray tracing. We need to turn off frame generation, quality FSR at epic settings. All right, let's go and accept all that. Let's see what we can expect. All right, so that is 36 FPS. So we're going to have to go a little bit harder on our upscaling, which you can go down to performance at 4K and it still look quite nice. So let's do that now just to get this frame rate up a little bit. You know, I'm sure once we turn on our ray tracing, we're going to have some issues. But performance gets us up to just shy of 60. So I would probably say no ray tracing if you want to play this at 4K. But it is doable. You know, I mean, you don't have to have ray tracing to enjoy the game. But it is upscaling from 1080p all the way up to 4K to get this result. All right, so you can come in here, kick on some ray tracing. So I've not changed anything at all. I'm just turning on ray tracing. And that gives us 45 FPS, 47, 48. Now, you know, with some frame generation, you can get this over the hump, so to speak, and get yourself a higher refresh experience. But just mind that PCL is at about 100 milliseconds, which is pretty high. On a controller, it'd be harder to notice that, but if you're on a mouse and keyboard, you'd probably be able to tell, just to call that out. But let's just see what it does anyway. Come in here and turn on some frame generation. So we're at performance FSR with FSR frame generation 3.1 enabled, with ray tracing on epic settings. So this is kind of pulling out every single thing you can possibly pull out to get this to run nicely. A little stutter there, but I did just change some settings. We won't penalize it too much. Other than the big harsh stutters, every now and then the frame time graph looks really good. I mean, it's nice and flat. So yeah, this is kind of what you can expect from the 9060 at 1440 and even 4K. With the title Cronos, newer title, definitely terrifying, very good, very fun. I've played about 2 hours of it outside of this, and yeah, in a dark room with some headphones on, it's quite intense. So if you're into that kind of thing, pick this game up for sure. But that'll be it. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you aren't new here and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? Please hit that little button for me. And if you are brand new here, and you have a question, be sure to hit that subscribe. And my monthly or weekly polls, rather, I put out polls every now and then, just trying to fill it out for what you guys want to see. You'll be able to see those pop up in your notifications if you enable notifications and you're subscribed. So be sure to do that. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up. This has been Cronos on the 9060 XT. Peace.